Hello everyone and welcome back to another effects video. We are now on part 7 of using these cool effects that you guys can use to enhance your games. And I'm no longer going to use that long intro just because you guys have heard it many times and it'll save a little bit of time. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay guys, so to kick off part 7, I'm going to make a revised item pop-up system which allows us to not have to use decals to get the image ID. And I'd like to thank the person on screen for helping me with this to create this new system. So to start off, in replicated storage, we have an item pop-up module that we will be using in a bit. There's nothing in it, so we'll have to code that. And in that, we have a get image remote function. We have a script and script service. And then I'll get to starter GUI in a bit, but we have a screen GUI and we also have a local script and starter player scripts. So back up to starter GUI, we have item pop up, which is a starter GUI, which is in starter GUI. And if we enable this, we get this right here. We have an icon, which is where the icon of the object is going to go. We also have a sparkle and a sunray. So if you guys want the configurations for this, there's not really much in the starter GUI you'd probably want to know about, but here is the image labels I have. So this is the icon. And then we have the sparkle. And then the sunray. And also in all of these, I have a UI aspect ratio constraint and a UI scale. And I'll also get into these animation scripts in just a second. But let's actually start coding it. And to start it off, we are going to start coding this module. Okay, so this is our first script done, which is the module. We're just getting some services, variables, and then we're using a local function called getInstances to change a whole bunch of instances properties in bulk. So that's what we're doing here for our UI scale and other properties of the instance. And then here we are returning a function which handles everything of getting the texture ID, tweening them to have a clean effect popping in, and then going out, tweening out, and using the same function and just resetting everything using a debounce. We also have some security checks to see if we have an ASA ID, and then we also have a duration here, and we're just checking if it's less than 3, then we're just going to automatically set it just because we don't want it to be too fast, but you guys can change that. And this is the full script done for the module. So now for the server script, I'm just going to real quick write this. Alright, so here when we call the remote function, we are using the insert service to get a model containing the image or a decal with the ASA ID, and then we are getting the decal in that model and then returning the texture to be used for our image. So now I think I need to talk about the local scripts inside of some of the image labels. So in our sparkle and our sunray, we're going to insert a animation local script, which will basically make them rotate in a circle to make it look all nice. I also have already completed the local script just for time's sake. So in the sparkle icon or image label, there is this animation script which just makes it repeatedly go in a circle with 7 seconds. And then also in the sunray, we have this one. Now the only difference is the time it takes So for the sparkle, it will rotate faster because of this number 7 here, the time. And for the sun ray, it will rotate slower because we have the 20 seconds here. Okay, so then finally, using the local script in starter player scripts, we are just going to get the replicated storage and then we can just get the item pop up like this. And then after 2 seconds, we are going to call item pop up, and I'm going to put in a duration of, I'm gonna say 5 seconds, and then I'm going to go get an ID. And I'm going to put this ID in, which is just like a random bomb icon from one of my other games. So we're going to go into the game, and here we have the sparkles and sunray going around. It has a nice UI scale effect. There is the icon, and then after a while it will disappear. One more thing I almost forgot to mention is in the script we have a scale thing here of 1.1. This is the scale that it will set to when it appears, and already I thought like my stuff was a little bit smaller, so for the UI scale and my stuff I set it to 1.3 to make it a little bit bigger, and so it will be set to 1.1, so there is a pretty good difference, so you will see it when it appears. Just a little FYI for you guys, and that's the values I'm using for the UI scale. So now guys, for the second effect, I'm going to make an idle pet animation, like maybe something you would see in the areas of Pet Simulator. And for this video, I'm going to be creating a monkey backflipping animation, but you guys can do whatever you want creating this. So first, what we need is a pet pack or some type of pet to work with. And obviously I don't know how to model that well, so I'm gonna go to the toolbox. I'm just gonna type in pet pack, and I found one pet pack that was really nice, and I think it was this one. I don't know if it's stolen. It's not like this is going into any games. It's just I'm using this for an example. But the cool thing about this pet pack is it is already set up perfectly for this system. So I'm going to search up monkey, and he's right here. So I'm going to grab him and move him out here. I'm just going to move this and just delete all the other ones. So then we have this monkey here, and in here he has the face part, and he also has a root part. So if your pet only has one part and that's the main thing, you want to include a root part because it needs 2 parts to animate it. So here is our root part that we just have on the same location of the pet. Another thing is we have the pet part here with the mesh and also a motor 6D. So we need this motor 6D inside of this pet part because it will be moving around. So in the motor 6D, you want to set part 0 to the root part and part 1 to your main mesh part, or your main part here. And then in the model we have an animation controller, and this is how we can animate it and do all the other things. And just to top it off, it would be a good thing if you have multiple parts on your pet to weld them together. So here we have a weld in the face, which welds the main pet part to the face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this root part invisible so we no longer see it. I'm just going to select my monkey. I'm gonna go to avatar, animation editor, click on the monkey, and it should set up like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my monkey, or try to select the part. I think I need to try to select them. Hold on. Yeah, there. I think I got him. See, then I select them like that, and we can move them around just like this, and it starts creating these keyframes down here, like you can see there. So now we can start animating him. Now, mind you, I'm not the best animator, so excuse what I'm about to make, but the first thing I'm going to do is change the time length to about like 6 seconds so we have enough time to do the animation. The first thing I'm going to do around land back on the ground. Now we're gonna have to configure this a little bit. If we just play it right now before any configurations, this is what it's kind of looking like. And we're gonna have to I'm gonna configure everything real quick, guys, and I'll come back to you when I think it's at a good timing. Okay guys, so I'm thinking this looks pretty good. If I play it again, he looks one way, he looks the other, and then he does a simple backflip just like this. So how we can make this a little bit better is I'm going to select these keyframes here. I'm going to right click, go to easing style, and I'm going to change it to cubic V2. I'm also going to right click and change easing direction to in out. So this will have a little easing to it, as you can see here. We can also change it however you guys would like it, you know, change the style or, you know, however you guys would like it, but I think it looks pretty good. I thought I had just showed you guys this, but when I selected these three keyframes, I thought I showed you guys the easing direction, but it turns out I had never changed it, so I'm going to change these first three to in out and keeping the easing style as cubic V2. So I think this will be my final version of the animation, and if we play it one more time, it looks like this. Which I think looks pretty good. So I don't think this really matters for what we're working with, but you can set the animation priority to idle. I'm not really sure what it does, but you can just set it anyways. I'm not sure if it matters. And then we can publish to Roblox, and this pops up. I can call it backflip animation, and I don't think I have to change anything else. I don't believe, but I think this looks good. Click save, and then I'm going to copy the ID you can see here, and then I'm going to close it. And then back to our monkey in the animation controller. In the controller, I'm going to create a new animation, and then copy the ID you just copied into animation ID, and then we can start coding it. And then since it's a 6-second time for the animation, I'm just going to say task.wait maybe 10 seconds, depends on how long you guys want it to play every so often, but I think this is good. And then now if we run our game, you guys can see the animation is playing and it's working, and he does his little backflip animation. We can go into the game and also see it with our character, as you can see here, and it looks pretty good. And another thing, if you have that while true do thing happening, you can see that it repeats again after it does the animation, which adds another cool little effect to it, as you can see here. Okay guys, so the third effect for this video is going to be a UI shadow / glow effect that you can add to your UI. And if you notice and you pay close attention to detail, you can notice the UI shadow that Pet Simulator 99 uses on their UI. I'm going to be showing you how you can do this. And it is going to include us going to a new website. So let's get right on into that. Okay guys, so I introduced to you Figma, and this is what we're going to be using to create a UI glow or shadow effect. A link to this will be in the description. It's figma.com. I just went to the home page and clicked new design, and we are here. So the first thing we're going to do is create a rectangle or a square. So here there's an options. There's a rectangle that we have selected here, and then when we click that, we can create a square. And what I'm going to do is create one that is 300 pixels by 300 pixels, and we can also change that here. So 300 by 300. I'm just going to click to move it to the center. And then what I'm going to do is in this corner right here, I'm going to click a new effect. And then it creates this right here. And I'm going to click on it and select layer blur. And if we click to the side of it right here, there's effect settings, and we can click that, and then there's this blur option. Now this is to control how basically what I would say define it is. So if we say 25, you can see it adds a good amount of blur to it. It's pretty defined. Now let's say we put in 250. You can see that it is not as defined. It's more of a broad glow. Now what I use is 25, and that is what I would use for like my background frames and stuff like that. So I think 25 is a good number. So once you've done this, there isn't really much to do other than exporting it. But if we want to get rid of the background, you can come up here next to the page and click this, so there is no longer a background. So then we can go to export, click on it, and then we can, one thing, I'm keeping this as PNG, but I'm going to click this and make it 4x for the best results, and then we can export this right here and click export right there, and then you can save it to your device. So once you've uploaded it to Roblox, you can then use it as an image label. So I'm going to real quick create a screen GUI with a frame in it. And I'm just going to make the frame look cool just for a second real quick. All right, so here is our frame, and then I'm going to put in a image label, and then we can then change the color to whatever we would like for our glow. So I'm just going to start off by making a shadow effect. So I'm going to copy this color into here, and then get the size, change it to that. Oh, I might have to do it a little bit better. Hold on. Okay guys, so I figured out what I was actually missing. You're not supposed to put the image label in the frame, but in the same screen GUI. And I also set the Z index to -1 so it appears behind the frame. So then if we copy the frame size, set it to the image label, it's going to be the same size like you see here. And then we're going to get the position, same thing for right there. Now it's not too visible. So how to do this, you can hold down shift, make it a little bit more defined, or something maybe like this, and then set the position. There you go. You can kind of see it like this. So now we have a UI shadow around our frame, and then you can do this for everything else, and it can also serve as a glow bright shadow. So if you wanted it to glow, you can change it to like a bright blue, and you can see now there is a cool blue glow behind your frame, and you can put it behind whatever you want. Okay guys, so the last effect for this video will be a revised module, which is a jump egg animation system from part 5, and basically I've repurposed this to be a general module that you can use with some extra features on it. So also in the description will be a link to a model called jump animation module, and here you will find this jump animation module. And let's go over what I have added to this. So it's about the same, but one thing I've added is ray casting. So it will, go to the ground. I'd like to shout out NoobScripts for doing this because he expanded on this system and made a video on it. So go check that out. But I decided to put it in here. And the other thing I've added to this is the ability to put in models into this system. Okay guys, so here I have this diamond that we will use to pop out from your character, and you can tell it is just a mesh. I mean, we could throw it in a model if we really wanted to, but we're just gonna stick with the mesh, and I'll show you how to use models in just a second. So let's actually start using it. So we are going to insert a local script in starter player scripts, and then get the jump animation module, and then we're just gonna say object equals game.workspace wait for child diamond. So object will be whatever we want to throw into the module, and then we're gonna wait 3 seconds until we want it to happen, and we're gonna say jump animation, animate, throw in our object, and then we have some settings we can throw in, which is object, the character, or not character, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Object, height, total time, distance from character. So we're going to say, these are my settings from the other video: 15, 0.55, and then 10. And if we go into the game, obviously it'll use that diamond because that's what I set in. And as you can see, it works just fine. And if we wanted to show off the ray casting, we can have a wedge here, like a little ramp or something like this. And then if we stand on top of the ramp, it doesn't matter where we're at, the diamond still falls to the ground, like you can see here. Okay, so now let's get into the models for this system. So here I have this cat that I've used in many other systems, many other examples that I modeled myself, and it is a model with a whole bunch of mesh parts. And yes, you do have to weld all of them together so they stick together, but the only thing you have to do is, other than welding them together, is set the primary part to the main part, which I have set to body, and body is this right here. So welding and also setting the primary part, all you would have to do is in the local script throw in cat, just like this. If we put the cat over there and then play the game, you'll see it works just like mesh parts, just like that. If we want to show off the system on the ramp, it will work just fine, just like that. And yeah guys, this was today's video. If you guys did learn something from this video, or you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.